On this episode of Main Street Magic, John shares his experience on the Disney Dream and all things dining during spring break. This is episode 65 of the Main Street Magic Podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and I've got my co-host back today, Mr. John Marone.
Ahoy.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com and like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at mainstmagic. If you've not had a chance to go back and listen to episode 64, John talks all about the Disney Dream and his spring break trip. He goes over the actual ship, he goes over the activities, the recreation, and really breaks down every part of a Disney cruise. Now, the one thing we held off on was talking about food because we knew we wanted to dedicate an entire episode just to all things dining. So welcome back, John. I've been on one cruise in my life. It was not a Disney cruise. It was nowhere near a Disney cruise. Just listening to your last episode, I know I want to go on a Disney cruise. I want to even more so after that. But I know what dining was like on the one cruise I went on, and I know nothing of how it works on Disney's cruises. What is included in your pricing? What are some of the extras that you pay for? You know, how does the dining work in general? So I'll let you start to just go through, and then if I have any other questions, I'll just simply ask them. But I would love to hear about everything you guys ate that week and the dining experiences that you were able to have while on the ship.
Perfect. You know, to me, if you would like it to be where you don't want to pay anything extra, then everything's included. So your breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, everything is included. Really, the only thing extra is if you're doing one of the two special dining events. So there's two special restaurants on the ship. They each have an upcharge. Okay. They are also each limited age-wise. Oh. Right, so nobody under, if I'm correct, it's nobody under 18 in either of those restaurants.
Okay.
Because the last time we went, Johnny was 17 and they were strict on it, so he couldn't go to one of the dinners that we took Alexis to.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
He was fine because he wanted to eat pizza, so
right.
He was good. But, so they do have two different dining experiences that you can book over and above everything. So, if we start talking about the restaurants where, let's talk about the sit-down restaurants at first. The sit-down restaurants are really going to be your breakfast and dinner spots.
Okay.
Those, and there's three of them. So the three restaurants are, to me, and I'll put them in order of, to me, the favorite. Number one is Animator's Palette. Animator's Palette is very Disney-esque. The chairs look like Mickey, just the red and black and everything. So it looks like you're sitting almost in Mickey's outfit or whatever.
Yeah.
It is very themed towards I won't say under the sea because it's not Ariel. It's themed more to Crush.
Okay.
Kind of, I won't say Finding Dory, but it's a very nautical restaurant. And if you've ever been to Disney and gone to Epcot and done Turtle Talk, that takes place during your dinner.
Like right at your table, right?
Yeah. So it depends
so
how the
cool.
tables are, but it's hilarious. So the turtle and the way it's broken down, it'll be in different areas of the dining room. So the dining room is kind of broken into sections. So your section is going to have a screen, and he'll come and say, hey, dude in the white shirt, what's going on? Where you from? And, just have that whole banter back and forth. So that's neat. Doesn't take place through all of dinner, but it takes place at different times. And then when it's not doing the turtle talk part, Bruce the shark will come up to the screen, real close and just look around. There'll be fish swimming by, everything. So it's neat. So that's my favorite on that. Next would be kind of Michelle's favorite, and that's Enchanted Garden. And both of these are on deck 3, and they're somewhat close to each other down the same corridor.
Okay.
Enchanted Garden is more of a Beauty and the Beast princess type restaurant. So it a lot of ornate things on the walls, but also pictures of princesses, everything for it. It's in the middle of the ship, so you don't really have any outside views of it, but it's a beautiful restaurant. It's very nice. And then the other one, I'm sorry, Enchanted Garden. I didn't mean Enchanted Garden on that. I meant Royal Palace.
Ah, okay.
Royal Palace
Okay.
is that. Enchanted Garden is on deck 2, and Enchanted Garden almost looks like the French countryside. It's kind of interesting. You walk in, and there's a big fountain in the middle of the dining room, and the table, some of the tables are almost booths that look like almost like they came off of a ride. You know, it's kind of
yeah.
interesting. You almost have to see it to understand it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you step up to a platform. It's a booth, but it has like this white rounded exterior, and you're almost saying, "Well, when is this thing going to start moving?" Right? It's kind of interesting. So that's a neat little location. But for us, it's probably our least favorite of the three.
Yeah.
Disney does rotational dining. So when you check onto the boat on your Keys to the Kingdom card that you receive, it's going to have letters. So this cruise, my letters were ERRA.
Okay.
I had 4 nights. So those are where I eat for those 4 nights.
Oh,
So
okay.
my first one, so our first night dinner was Enchanted Garden. We then had Royal Table, Animator's Palette.
And these are randomly selected for you, in a sense? Okay.
Yes.
All
So
right.
again, if it is something that you want to change. So for us, we were doing Remy on our last night.
Okay.
That was our only night we had Animator's Palette. So I tried to see if I could switch Animator's Palette to a different night, because he said, because the cruise was so full and they had 80 requests even called in ahead of time, he said it would just be tough.
Yeah.
So like his advice was, you're not going to eat. You have the early seating. Your reservation is at 7. Dinner's at 5:45. Go to dinner so that the kids can have dinner, and you just sit there, have a drink, do whatever. Just don't eat. And that is one thing we ended up doing.
Okay.
Right. But some people, maybe they get Animators twice and the other ones once. But you will experience all 3 of the restaurants.
Okay.
Whether you're doing the 3-night or the 4-night.
Yeah.
With the rotation, though, that is also your server's rotation. So the very first night when we went, we were early seating. So 5:45, we were table 95. So each table has a number. That's what you're assigned to. We met our waiter as well as the assistant, or our server and our assistant server.
Yeah.
The head server walked by later again. And remember, the head server gets a tip, and he just comes by and says, everything's okay. So
It's the job I want.
he doesn't bring. I actually one night I think he might have picked up a couple empty plates from the table, but otherwise he does nothing but go around and just almost like a maitre d'.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, interesting, but he gets the tip off of that. So our first night, we meet our server, our assistant server, and then they will be our servers every night, no matter the restaurant. They follow you around, so they get to know you as well. So Michelle and I, we order a wine package. There are 2 wine packages available. You don't have to do it, but the wine package you can buy for 1 night, 2 night, 3 night, 4 night, right? We're on a 4-night cruise.
Okay.
And what it does is it gives you access to a bottle of wine every night for dinner. If you don't finish it, you take it with you. But it's a bottle of wine each night. There is a lower cost one, and I want to say the lower cost one is about $120
Okay.
for all 4 nights.
Yeah.
The more expensive one is about $150 for all 4 nights.
Okay. Do you get to pick
And you
your
can pick.
wine?
Yeah,
Okay.
you
So
can
they're
pick
not
your
just
wine.
bringing you whatever.
Nope.
You still get a menu and you pick that
Yep,
bottle.
Yep.
Cool.
You pick
Okay.
whatever bottle you want. So Michelle likes Pinot Grigio. I'll go along with her on it at dinner and that. So we had the same bottle every night. But because we were doing Remy, which you don't bring or pick a bottle that's separate, we did the 3-night package.
Okay. That's really nice. Like when
Yeah.
you consider the dining plan at Disney World where you can't just pick and choose nights, that's nice that you're able to do it
Right.
in this instance. That's great.
So we get that. We picked a bottle of wine, and then we ended up telling our assistant server. So he's the one that opens it and does everything. We're like, we're gonna have this bottle every night. And he's like, you're not gonna change. We're like, no, this bottle every night. So now he has it ready for us each night for dinner.
Yeah, that's
Whereas
awesome.
if you don't, say you switch and you just look through and say, I'm having a Chardonnay this night. Tomorrow I want a red. Whatever bottle you pick, it takes you a while to get to it because now they have to go get the bottle,
Right.
open it, bring it back. Here, he already had it pre-planned. It was on the ice ready, so we had to do that. Then the kids. So the kids, it was nice. They had waters on the table for them with lids on them with their names written on the lid. So you have Gavin and Gianna written on the lid. Then each of them went for the Shirley Temple.
Of course.
So now, every night when we go to the dining room, they have a Shirley Temple sitting in front
That's
of them.
awesome.
As well
That's
as
really
their water and everything. So, if the kids want to switch, they'll obviously switch, but otherwise they're, preparing and hey, they're getting to know you.
Yeah.
So getting to know no different than, Gianna loves steak. So she orders steak the first night. The second night they bring him a menu, but if steak isn't on the menu, they're going to ask, hey, does she want steak? But it's nice because when they bring it, you don't have to be mom and dad when they bring it. Reason I say is they cut it for them.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow.
you're just sitting there and, you go to cut it or want, and they're like, nope, I got it. So cutting it up.
Man.
If the kids need ketchup, they put it in the shape of Mickey on their plate. So, Gavin had a cheeseburger every night and ate it. And so every night that's, they pretty much knew, come to the table, Gavin, you're ready for your cheeseburger? Yep, that's what I want. No change? Nope.
Yeah.
There you go. So on the kids menu, they have a menu. There's usually a drink being a smoothie or a shake or something of the day, which would be an upcharge. So maybe
Okay.
$4 or $5 if the kids want it.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing really that's extra or an upcharge for the kids off the kids menu.
Okay.
Next, you could pick and choose. So they'll have a chicken, a seafood, a steak or something. Maybe it appeals to some of the older kids, but they'll also have pizza, burger, whatever. I know one night the kids wanted chicken strips. It wasn't on the menu, so they went and got them chicken strips.
That's great.
So whatever they need, they're going to take care of. So not a problem there. But if your child wants to try pasta, just tell them and they're going to give them pasta.
Yeah.
If your child wants to have pizza and a burger, tell them they're going to bring both of them. So
Okay.
not a problem there.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So if they're like my kids who want something that they eat all the time and then it gets delivered and they're like, no, I don't like this version of it. You're cool. You just send it back or whatever. They just bring you something else.
Bring
So
you something else.
That's nice.
And then dessert, there's going to be a couple desserts for them to choose from. But looking at the dining room, knowing my kids everything, the majority of kids get a Mickey bar.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be my
Right.
choice.
So that's what they do. I don't think so. It might be, but I don't know. Their desserts are actually pretty good.
Yeah. So what's the food like then?
So
they're going to
here's
give
the
them
thing.
whatever they want though
Yeah.
for the kids. How does it work for adult? Is it different food at the different restaurants?
No. So it's the same menu every night. So, well, when I say the same menu every night. So Monday night, it doesn't matter what one of the 3 restaurants you're dining in. You have the same menu as
Okay.
everybody.
Oh, I gotcha. So
So-
it's not based on restaurant. It's based on evening.
Yep. It's based on even.
Okay, so the restaurant really
Doesn't
The only
matter.
thing that matters is the ambiance.
Yeah,
It really
exactly.
is. Okay, it's starting
Exactly.
to make so much more sense.
So
now.
some people might not know that.
I would
but,
have never known that at all.
they do post the menu outside the restaurant. So I went and looked at them, and they're the same menus
Yeah,
at the same time. So again, it makes sense too because there's one big kitchen that is taking care of everything.
right.
So this one
insane.
kitchen handles
Yeah,
all 3 restaurants, right? So it's just making the same thing. You're not getting the same as an adult. Your menu will change every day,
Mm-hmm.
just like the kids does. So your options for each night, you're always going to have an adult. There's going to be a steak or a beef option. There's
Okay.
going to be a pasta option, a seafood option, a vegetarian option.
yeah.
There's not going to be multiple, but there's probably usually for the adults, I'd say 5 choices
Okay.
on the entrees
Okay.
to choose from. There's also always, I'd say, you're going to have appetizers, and usually you have upwards of 4 to 6 to choose from.
Wow.
You want 2, order 2. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. They'll bring them to you. There's going to be soup and salad. It's going to be your entrees, and then there's also going to be dessert at the end, of which you're usually going to have 3 choices there for dessert, sometimes more, as well. So the only night that really to me is themed is the pirate night.
Okay.
So now pirate night doesn't really change the menu. You kind of have the same things, but you know, and where I say it changes, let's pick seafood, right? On pirate night, the seafood dish might be more geared towards the Caribbean, where it's going to have, you know, rice and some more citrus
Yep.
and everything with the fish.
Okay.
On another night, which there is I won't say it's a formal night. They kind of say it could be if you want it to be. But like, say on a formal night, your fish is going to be there, and it's going to be more cooked in perhaps a French style with like a heavy sauce and
Okay.
and that. So they're not. I won't say it's good meals. If I had to compare it to anything, if I said, well, what are the meals like on the cruise versus at Disney?
Uh-huh.
It's not California Grill, but they're sit-down restaurants. So, you know, maybe it is closer. I mean, California Grill has such a wide menu.
Yeah.
But you take maybe a Tiffin's. Take hard to say. I mean, you had a different experience, but Flying Fish or, you know, just some sort of sit-down restaurant. That's, to me, is what it's comparable to.
Is there any form of dress code for those 3?
No.
Okay. So you can literally show up in a t-shirt and bathing suit. I mean, you may not want to.
Yeah, I
because
think
it sounds like they are a little bit
to.
nicer. Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering if there
Yeah.
was anything specific.
Yeah,
My
they
dress
asked
code
not to.
options aren't always the best if
No.
I don't plan ahead.
No, so they asked not to. And the restaurants are going to be loud just because
Yeah.
of the children and everything
Yeah.
in there and that. But I mean, they're festive, they're fun, and I mean, to me, it's good. So desserts. The thing that we look forward to the most on desserts is there is one dessert night where they have a Grand Marnier souffle, which is wonderful. But I want to say that it might even been one night they had 2 desserts that sounded really good. For me, there was one that looked good for Michelle, so we ended up getting 3 desserts, and we kind of split and shared,
great,
amongst them. So now with dessert, they will give you another with a menu of coffee, espresso, but then, you know, cognac, after dinner drinks and
Yeah.
stuff. Those could have costs to them.
Yeah.
Your coffee's not gonna, but the other stuff could.
Are those prices pretty similar to a Walt Disney World? Like, let's just say you're getting a beer or a glass of wine, you know, and you didn't have the wine package. What's it cost to get a Blue Moon or something? Are we still looking at the, you know, $7 and $8 ranges that you might see at like a Disney World? Pretty comparable, or
To me, and again, I'm just trying to think. I think most of the prices are comparable, but I'll say they're maybe $1 to $2 cheaper on the boat.
okay, yeah,
They're not gouging you on the
Right.
boat.
Okay.
Still a price, but they're not that bad. And that's where I had said in a previous episode, even with some drink specials, right?
Right.
You get mimosas and Bloody Marys, I think, for $4.50 up until noon.
yeah, which is great.
No matter where you are, doesn't mean that you have to be in a restaurant.
Okay,
So those are the dinners, and then we'll get to Remy and Paulo later on.
one more on those types of dinner. How does the gratuity work? Is it already built into
Yep.
your pricing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're not paying for anything for the dinner.
I got you. So that's all built into your package pricing. You
Yep.
don't ever see it
Nope.
at all. Okay,
Nope.
cool.
No,
All right.
come sit down, eat. That's it. So here's what I paid for at dinner. The very first night, I had to pay for my wine package.
Uh-huh.
Every night thereafter, I had to sign a slip for the wine package,
Okay.
but there was no cost to it.
Right.
So we didn't purchase any other after dinner drinks or anything.
Yeah.
So I believe the night, though, that we went to... So this is good. The night we went to Art of Animation, where Michelle and I didn't eat because we were going to Remy, we each had a glass of wine.
Uh-huh.
And I want to say our bill was $14.
Oh, that's not bad at all for
Yeah, it
two
wasn't-
glasses of wine at
yeah,
Disney.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. So, that's it. On Pirate Night, they try and they have these light up mugs for the kids that the kids' drinks could go into, but they're light up mugs. They look like a pirate on the front, but you press a button underneath and it changes it from a strobe to a standard light, whatever. We've gotten them before, and they still work.
Right.
So, even though it's made in China, the quality is pretty good.
I know. I've got my light up. I got my
yeah.
light up lotus flower and ice cube right on my desk here.
Yeah. So the mugs are neat, but they try and get those, and that's an add-on of like an extra $4 or something if you want that.
Right.
But we didn't take them this time because we already had them. So that to me is kind of dinner. Now those restaurants, you have. Let's go to breakfast, right? So breakfast, I didn't talk about Cabanas, but Cabanas is up on the 11th deck. This is your buffet.
Okay. All right.
Breakfast buffet, lunch buffet. Believe Cabanas also, let's check real quick, Cabanas on their hours so lunch for Cabanas 11:45 to 3. Cabanas isn't dinner. So breakfast, lunch.
But these ones, you can go to at any time you want,
anytime
correct?
you want.
That's not you're seated.
No
Okay.
set seating, just go. So Cabanas for breakfast. Well, okay. For breakfast, you have a breakfast buffet at Cabanas or Enchanted Garden on deck 2.
Okay.
So both of those are buffets.
Okay.
At Royal Palace, you have a sit-down breakfast if you'd like to.
Okay.
So it just depends. To me,
Is it all pretty standard breakfast fare?
Yeah, so a little bit more upscale for Royal Palace to go sit down and have a nice drawn-out breakfast. But if you're going to breakfast at Cabanas, which is the bigger buffet, gosh, there's a pastry section, a fruit section. You have your eggs with hash browns and corned beef hash and sausage and bacon. And then there's a carving station.
Nice.
And then there's a yogurt station. There's a ton of different cereals in the box for the kids. It is a huge buffet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anything you can think of there is going to be available. There's the Mickey waffle section.
Of course.
With toppings and everything for that. There's pancakes, and the pancakes, they'll switch up. One day there was blueberry pancakes. The next day there was just regular pancakes, but there's all toppings for it. So, and the pastries are good. The fruit, there is a ton of fruit. So it's in a case. So if you want watermelon, grapes, cantaloupe, you want certain tropical fruit, anything, you just go up, tell the person what you want. They put it into a bowl or on a plate for you. So I want just pineapple. Great. Here's a big bowl of pineapple. I want pineapple and grapes. Here you go. And then oatmeal as well, and all the toppings for oatmeal. So that's a good thing. Go there whenever you want. That's very casual because you're on the pool deck, and that's usually people are eating and then heading out to the pool or whatever. So it gets crowded, gets noisy, but that's where you go. There, excuse me. There is, drink wise, there's drink stations there. So you can get up and get your orange juice, apple juice, milk. You can get sodas, you can get water, you can get coffee, you can get tea. So there is no service there other than people who walk around and kind of clean the tables up. But you're not having a waiter. Sometimes they'll walk around and refill orange juices.
Right.
Just to, I think, help keep people from always, just
going
crowding.
back and forth. And,
yeah,
that makes sense.
So, but for the most part, you get up there, whatever you want to drink is fine. Which is another thing to bring up. There are, on deck 11, there are 2 soda machines with lemonade, soda, iced tea. There's coffee, all that. Those are 24 hours a day.
Okay.
They have cups, so you just walk up, fill up the cup, and you're good to go. So what we sometimes do, so ours was different. So our first day, we went to the DVC welcome party.
Okay.
Besides drinks, they have bottles of water there. So we each grabbed some bottles of water, put them in our room in the fridge, and we got some bottled water.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I take with me either the stainless steel mugs, not the mugs, but the containers, almost like a Yeti with a, I won't say a Yeti cup with a lid, but maybe a Yeti container with a lid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I've also in the past taken these plastic pouches,
Yeah.
right? You fill up the pouch and screw the top on, where I'll just go to those soda machines, fill them up with water, and keep them in the room.
Yeah.
So I have water whenever I want.
That's a great idea.
Otherwise, they'll sell you 6 packs of water.
Oh, okay.
So it's not, hey, whenever I want a bottle of water, it's free.
Right.
Water is something.
Right.
So the drink machines are free. It's just they're only on deck 11.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's
you want
it.
stuff in your room to have access
Right.
to without paying a ungodly cost for them
Right.
to bring you a 6-pack of water.
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense.
So bring something to be able to fill up and have some water with you. And if you're DVC, go to that event just so you could snag some bottles
Yeah,
of water.
definitely.
Which is another good thing to be able to do. So Cabanas has the breakfast buffet. It also has a lunch buffet. Lunch buffet is where you're going to go for mounds and mounds of peel and eat shrimp, stone
nice.
crab claws, or straight crab clusters, depending what day it is.
Seriously? Oh.
Yeah. So
I would camp out there for
it
as
is.
long as they would let me.
It's awesome. Go for as long as you want.
Man.
I mean, it's like 11:30 to 2:30 or something like that.
I would
it's
sit
plenty.
there from 11:30 to 2:30 and eat stone crab claws.
Yeah, and they're pre-cracked.
Oh, that's the best.
So all you got to do is pop them open, and you are good to go. And even the shrimp. The shrimp have the tail on, but I'm trying to think if... they are... They're not peeled, but they're already split.
Yeah, they're split down the back.
So
Yep.
you one
Oh,
peel,
so easy
and they
to
all
get
come off.
Oh, man, that is the best.
So, yeah, so you have that, but then there's a pizza station, there's a sandwich station, there's a carving station, there's fish and meats and steaks and everything. So there's a long buffet. There's also a big dessert case. There's an ice cream section if you want to get some hard ice cream.
Yeah.
They'll scoop out for you. So the lunch buffet is great there. So to me, for lunch, that's probably the place that you're going to.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, I won't say there's a lot of sit-down options for lunch, but remember for lunch, we were on the 4-night cruise. Lunch day 1, right? Because you get on the boat, you eat lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Day 2, you're in Nassau, so if you get off, you're eating somewhere. You only need lunch if you're staying on the boat.
Yep.
Day 3 is Castaway Key.
Okay.
You're eating lunch on the island.
Okay.
Day 4 is your day at sea. You're eating lunch on the boat.
Right. Okay.
So if you want something, and there's plenty for the kids to find on the buffet, but if your kids are real picky eaters or you want to be quicker, there's another section right out, right there on deck 11, which is cars themed.
Oh, cool.
So it's Luigi's Pizza, Tomater's Grill, Fillmore's Favorites.
Okay.
So pizza, they have pre-made pizza, probably 5 or 6 different topping types. So just go up there, tell them what you want. They put them on a plate, and you're good to go. You go to the next one, they have burgers, hot dogs, chicken sandwiches, any of that quick stuff that the kids would like, chicken fingers, right? Or even adults. Not saying it's just for the kids. They have another case where it is wraps and sandwiches already made. So,
Okay.
Roast beef and Swiss, or Michelle found the turkey with cranberry.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
So-
that's what I would have been
Yep,
having.
yep. Not the
That's
full
great.
Thanksgiving meal,
Right,
but
but
the
that's
turkey and
close.
cranberry.
All right.
So, and then they have cookies there and everything as well. So that's kind of just your quick service counter. Walk right up, tell them what you want, and go sit down with it. So,
Okay.
and again, all that's included, so nothing that you're paying for.
Right.
From that aspect. So we did that at least one of the days, just because it was
Yeah.
quick, and I don't know why we were in the middle of doing something. We just didn't want to go in Cabana, sit down, and walk through the whole buffet.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
we were probably saving for dinner and didn't want to stuff ourselves.
Right. Of course.
If I remember on it. If none of that stuff appeals to you, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, there's room service.
Okay.
There's a nice room service menu. Room service menu is anything, I mean, it's no different than a hotel room service menu. It's pizza, it's wings, it's sandwiches, it's steaks, it's fish, it's the whole ball. I mean, it's a nice menu.
Yeah.
and then they will deliver it to you, and the only thing you're paying is a gratuity. So you're just tipping the person who delivers it. So we will do that quite often at night to finish the night. Not for food, but on there are cookies and milk.
Oh, perfect.
So at night, call them up. Hey, could you send me up 4 cookies and 4 milks? And let the kids have a treat, as well as us, of having some cookies and milk right before bed.
That's great.
Cookies are huge, and they just bring you the cartons of milk. And, you know,
that's great.
Tip the person a little bit, and you're good to go.
Awesome.
So sometimes they will deliver Mickey bars to your room.
Nice.
So you can get that as well. There's also time where you can ask. It is not on the menu, but you can ask if they're doing Mickey pretzels.
Oh, okay.
So don't always have them, but you can ask. And sometimes they do, and you could get Mickey pretzels.
With the plastic cheese?
Gosh, I don't know if they bring the cheese or not.
Oh, because that would be perfect then.
Yeah.
See, I would do that and then follow it up with a Mickey ice cream bar.
Yeah. The mustard's not cutting it, huh?
No. Don't bring mustard to my room. But I'll take the plastic cheese any day of the week.
Yeah, so I don't know on that what they're doing.
Is room service an option for breakfast as well?
Yep.
Okay.
And room service is 24
I
hours
was just
a day.
going to say. All right.
Except your last night of the cruise, I think room service stops at 11 or 12.
Okay. All right.
And that's it. But otherwise, so I've never used it for straight food.
Yeah.
We've only used it for snacks or dessert.
Yeah.
And they do have some snacks on the room service menu that have a cost. So say that you would like you want to think of M&Ms and stuff like that.
Right.
More of those snack mixes or snacks. Those can have a cost to them.
Okay.
For it, no different than if you're probably just buying in the store.
Yeah.
Right. They're just walking it to you.
What are you allowed to bring on board as far as food and drinking, especially with alcohol? Because I remember it was like 1 bottle per something when we did our cruise, but I can't remember.
Yes.
Like, what is a normal snack or drink that you're allowed to bring with you?
I don't think they want you bringing any food on board.
Yeah.
But alcohol, 6-pack per adult, 2 750 milliliter bottles of wine per adult.
Oh, that's a lot better than what
No vodka
we
or
did.
spirits,
Okay.
but it has to be in your carry-on. It can't be in your check bag.
Okay. All right.
So we brought a backpack and we put some of the, box type or wine.
Yeah.
So we
there's
just
still I think 750 to
Yeah.
1,000 milliliter. They're just in a box format, so you don't have to worry about glass and
but
they stay fresher longer too if you open them. I mean,
so the box one we got is, to me, it's just not glass, right? It's the box, so it doesn't get crushed, but it was tall and thin, almost shaped like the bottle, as opposed to when I say box wine, we're looking for the big cardboard square.
Right, the stuff I drank in college with the spout and everything. Yeah, that's
so
not
this is
going to
no
cut
spout. This is just unscrew the top and pour it out of there.
Right.
And then it fits well in the fridge. Those type as well.
Okay.
So that's it. But they don't want you bringing. And I don't know why you'd bring food on board. I take that back. I think we might have we brought snacks.
And that was my thought. Like if you brought bags of trail mix or bags of just pretzels or Doritos or something just to snack on in the room. Yeah. But yes, it sounds like you're not going to be for a lack of food whatsoever on your trip.
So now that I remember, we brought goldfish, Twizzlers, and I think Michelle brought some of the certain type of popcorn that she eats.
All right. Yeah. So,
but I don't know if we did any of it.
Right.
But actually, one night we got to our room and our room host, our attendant, she had left a package for us on our bed, which was a big bag of popcorn, and then 4 Mickey Rice Krispie treats.
Oh, cool.
2 of them dipped in chocolate, 2 of them not.
Nice.
So that was nice.
Yeah,
which I said before, we gave her extra tip over and above the allotted, and it was just because of stuff like that.
Oh, of course. That's going to make a huge difference.
Yep.
I mean, you kind of end up paying for it in the end if you're, but that's well worth it. It's going to be a lot less than you buy 4 Mickey Rice Krispies at, Magic Kingdom or something, I'm sure.
Yeah. Now, the one place that people like to line up for, that is probably the most popular place, is on deck 11 by the pool, opposite from where the quick service counter stuff is the self-serve ice cream machines.
Oh, I bet.
So they will rotate flavors throughout the cruise, but there are I think there's 4 ice cream machines, each with 3 spouts. So 2 flavors and twist. So there is chocolate, vanilla, banana, blueberry, whatever, and cones. Right? So you just grab a cone, fill it up, and get whatever ice cream you want. So that's a popular thing, and we end up doing that. It's a nice little quick treat for everybody.
Yeah.
So we use that. There is also one of those machines on Castaway Cay.
Oh, that's awesome.
So while you're there on the island, where you go to get your lunch, there are the drink machines as well, but there is also the ice cream machine. So you can go and get yourself you're not away from it for too long.
Yeah. Now, how's the food at Castaway Cay? Is
Castaway
it
Cay's
themed
neat.
towards like a
So,
Caribbean
barbecue.
type style? Oh, okay.
So it's like a big barbecue. So they have different. So there's cookies 1 and 2, or cooks 1 and 2, I think is what the name of it is. There's different lines. It's all the same food, but they will have different types of salads.
Okay.
Of not just lettuce salads, but they'll have coleslaws and potato salad and all that. Then there's hot dog, hamburger and cheeseburgers. They had this time a spicy chicken sandwich. So those are all pre-made, but then they also have ribs.
Oh, nice.
Different types of beef and that. So, and seafood as well.
Yeah.
So, mahi and that. And then they have, they have this pineapple bread that's amazing. So this just looks like a little loaf, but it's so good. Realistically, it's more cake than bread,
right.
but it's good. And then they have big, huge cookies that are even bigger than what you get at room service.
Nice.
Kind of plain. So there's plenty there, and then corn and the whole ball of wax.
Yeah.
So there's plenty to eat there. That's not a bad meal. I mean, you should be able to find something there.
Yeah.
If not, head back to the boat. And
right. You've got all your options
go
there.
up and get something there. It's just because you can walk or tram it either way. So you can walk, to me, anywhere, but they do run a tram on the island as well, because there are different areas of the island. There's the family beach. There's the adult-only beach.
Oh, cool.
There's the cabanas. And even the family beach is kind of split in 2 just because of the way the island's shaped. So that tram makes different stops there. So if you're getting off the boat, it probably makes, if the tram's there, it makes sense to go ahead and hop on it.
Okay.
No matter where you're going.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's at least going to get you part way or all the way to where you're going, and then hop off and you're right there. It saves you a ton of walking for that. Not that there's anything the matter with walking, but when you get off the boat, you're probably trying to find a nice beach chair or setup, and so is everybody else.
Yeah. So you want to get there.
So you want to get there.
Okay.
For it. So so food, that's it. There's plenty. If you're going to a show or you're going to the movie to see that, they do have a snack bar that opens up right before the shows. And the snack bar has wines and beers and drinks that you pay for. It also has snacks that you can buy. So it has popcorn and it has candy bars and those items. And it's not much. I mean, I'm trying to remember, Michelle and I, must have been when we went to the magic show. It must have been Beauty and the Beast because the kids came.
Uh-huh.
Did the kids come to Beauty and the Beast now? They did. So we got popcorn, bottled water, and stuff. And again, I don't even know what it was, $14, something like that. It wasn't. It's cheaper than the movies,
right? Oh yeah.
So that's good. So that's, to me, is most of your dining. There's buffets, there's sit downs. You got breakfast, lunch, dinner. Mm-hmm. There's late night stuff. So pirate night after the fireworks are done, Cabanas opens up for a late night buffet. Taco bar, huge dessert bar, fruit bar as well. So it's not, a ton of food, but it's kind of themed in that, and
Right.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But you got to be ready to eat at 11,
Okay.
right? Because
Yep.
the Jack Sparrow show starts about 10:30, fireworks about 10:45. You get in a buffet at 11,
Yeah.
and it's like, do you want to eat 2 tacos and a dessert and head
My
to
answer
bed?
is yes.
Especially if you're still going to go and hit a club or two afterwards.
Right.
Get some food in your stomach before you go and do
Yeah.
that. But your thing to remember too is if the kids are in the kids club, it closes at 12.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's your only thing on that night. So that's all the stuff that's included. Let's talk about the 3 things that are not included. One of them being real quick. They used to have an arcade on the boat, and they took it away, and they replaced it with Vanellope Suites.
Okay.
So Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph, the place is cute on the inside.
Yeah.
I mean, it is definitely themed to that whole Wreck-It Ralph and the whole Candyland area. But they are open and have tons of desserts. So they can do the kitchen sink type ice cream and
okay.
candies. They can do regular desserts that they have, cookies and cakes and pastries, the puddings, any of that stuff. All of those have a cost to it if you
Okay.
get anything from the sweet store.
Yep.
If you do something like the kitchen sink, you could actually go there, order it during the day, and they will deliver it to your restaurant for your dinner, for your dessert.
Man. Nice.
So say you wanted the whole family and you want to do the kitchen sink, you could go there, prepay it, tell them what table you're at, what time your dinner is, and then they'll bring that to
That's
you.
cool.
And it does come in a, some kind of, I think their kitchen sink comes in a car that looks like
okay.
the car that they drive
Yeah.
on the ship. I mean, in the movie. So that's the one paying. The other 2 paying things are Palo and Remy. Palo is more of an upscale Italian type.
Okay.
So it's up on one of the higher decks. It has great views of the ocean, 18 and older. There is somewhat of a dress code there.
Okay.
So I don't know how strictly it's enforced, but let's say if you're a man at Palo, you can get away with slacks and a golf shirt,
Okay.
jeans as long as they're not torn.
All right.
So
I own those items.
yeah, and I'm sure if you came with a really nice pair of Tommy Bahama shorts or something like that,
Yeah.
you'd be okay as well. And that just has a little bit different menu, very good. But you pay on that one, I believe the upcharge is $25 a person.
Okay.
So-
So it's not really, because again, that would be much more expensive, obviously, if you were going somewhere like that, within Disney World. So you really are paying an upcharge, not a straight out of pocket price, I guess.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what you're eating or how much you're eating. You just have an upcharge of
So
$25
$50
a person.
for a couple of 2 to go somewhere like that, pretty much.
Yep.
That's really good.
Yep, minus the kids. So let's talk about the kids, right? The kids camp will feed them dinner.
Okay.
So if you say, well, I'm not doing my my dining, my main dining, I'm not doing it. The kids camp does dining as well, so they will feed them there, and I forget what time they do it. I think they might do it at 6:00 or 6:30 or
Okay.
that. So if you schedule your dining for Paulo or Remy, and you just put the kids in the kids club, they'll feed them dinner.
Yeah.
So they're going to eat and they'll be taken care of there.
Okay.
I did not do Paulo this trip. We did it last time with Alexis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I said at that time she was 20, Johnny was 17, and they were strict on the 18-year-old age for that,
Yeah.
so he couldn't join us.
Yeah.
And the food was really good.
Yeah.
So again, more Italian, but you're still having the same thing. You're having different seafoods, pastas, steaks,
Yeah.
but more geared towards, I believe they say it's Northern Italian is
Okay.
how that's done. So that's nice. Across the hallway from that is Remy. So when you get off the elevator for this, you get off the elevator and straight in front of you is a bar called the Meridian Bar, where it has some tables and chairs that you can sit at. It also has a straight flat bar that if you sit there right behind the bartender, you're looking out at the water.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then Palo is to your left, Remy is to your right.
Okay.
So Remy is an upcharge. Remy is fine dining, signature dining, whatever you want to call it. The upcharge is $95 a person.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This dress code, men, shirt, tie, jacket.
Okay.
You could probably get away without the tie if you have a jacket.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what I did. I think I had on slacks, a button-down shirt, and a sport coat. And
Okay.
I did not wear a tie.
Yep.
And then dresses or pantsuits or something like that for the ladies.
Yep.
But so a little bit nicer, more formal. Remy, obviously, the dining room is from Ratatouille.
Yeah, that's cool.
There is a Remy that's hidden within one of the chandeliers. Not a real one, but a nice carved one. And there's actually 3 different dining rooms there. There's kind of the main dining room. There is a wine room where you sit amongst thousands of bottles of wine.
That's
And
cool.
then there's a separate room that you would consider almost a chef's table.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even if you're not at the chef's table, the chef will come out and visit your table sometime during dinner.
Wow.
And nice guy, but big guy. So what's Remy for your upcharge, and is it worth it? So there are 3 menus on Remy. There is a French menu.
Okay.
The French menu is from, and don't ask me his name, but he is a Michelin-starred French chef, and this is going to be 5 courses.
Oh, wow.
So you can take the French side, or you can take the American side.
Mm-hmm.
The American side is 5 courses, but it's done from Chef Scott Hunnell, who runs Victoria and Albert's.
Okay.
And these menus change seasonally.
Uh-huh.
So they change probably 4 times a year for those 5 courses. The third menu, you could mix and match.
Oh, cool.
So say
That's nice.
I want to do the French menu, but I like the seafood course on the American one better. They'll swap it out.
And same price, though, per person.
Yeah, you're still
Regardless.
95,
Okay.
doesn't matter. So that's one cost. You're 95 per person.
Mm-hmm.
Next, if you're going to get a drink, you're going to pay for whatever you're drinking. They do wine pairings.
Okay.
I did the wine pairing. Michelle did not, and the wine pairing was 105
Okay.
for it. I don't mind trying and tasting all the different wines, but one of the reasons I went for the wine pairing is when I looked at the menu, when I was picking whether I wanted French or American,
Yeah.
I was looking at the recommended wines. I was then looking at the wine menu to see how much they would charge for either a glass or a bottle if it
And
was
see
available.
and see if it's worth it.
So, like, the very first course for the American menu was a champagne that came with it. It was only available by the bottle, but it was $325 if you bought the bottle.
Yeah.
So looking at it, I mean, they're not great big grand pours, but they're okay.
Yeah.
By the end of the meal, you'll feel it after 5 glasses,
Right.
or whatever that you're going through.
Man.
So Michelle went for the French menu. I went for the American menu, and we didn't change.
Yeah.
So we did that. I did add on another course to my meal, though. So there are different things you can add on over and above it. You could add on different caviar.
Okay.
So they have, I think, 4 or 6 different types of caviar that you can add on. I posted it on Main Street Magic on our Facebook page, but if you go and look at it, and you can go back to the cruise photos where I posted the pictures of all the plates that we had during this meal.
Yep.
You will also see I posted a menu, and the menu was the water menu. So there is a list of still waters that you can buy or sparkling waters. There was I forget who it was, but one of the still waters, if you bought it, was $95.
That is insane.
Yeah, nuts.
Golly.
We did not upcharge our waters.
That's good.
So we said, regular free tap water will be okay. Even if you dip it over.
I was going to say, you could have pulled it right out of the ocean.
Pull it out of the boat. I'm okay. That's not a problem.
Oh, man.
And then there is an additional. So there's one other thing you can purchase. The other thing you can purchase is what I teased. And I'm showing Jeremy a picture, and I'll talk about it in a minute.
Is this
but
the steak?
That's the steak.
Yep.
And the steak is Matsukua beef. Maybe I'm butchering that. But most people, so this is beef that comes from Japan. Most people, when you think of Japan, you think of
Kobe
or Wagyu, right?
Yep.
This is supposed to be a step up from that.
Oh, wow.
It is, when I went and read about it, even on anything, they're from black cows in Japan, and there are only 2,500 of them slaughtered a year for this.
Oh, wow. And they probably drink that still water.
Yeah, they drink the $95 still water. So lots of fat and marbling all through the meat. But they, when you look at only 2,500 are slaughtered a year, and then how many of them make, how much of that meat even makes it to the United States.
Right.
And then how much of that meat even makes it onto
this cruise.
I said, I'll get it. So the upcharge, you can either do 2 ounces or 4 ounces, and you have a choice on how you'd like to do it. So on your steak course, so let's say your regular steak course is 4 ounces. They will give you 2 ounces of your regular steak course and 2 ounces of this.
Okay.
So 2 ounces of this is $55 for the upcharge. 4 ounces is $110.
Yeah.
So you can just add it in as a separate plate. If you add it in as a separate plate, so this is what I did. I added it in. So with that separate plate for $55, it was 2 ounces of the beef. It was a potato side with it, and then a special glass of wine to go with it as well.
Oh, okay.
Now, the special glass of wine that went with it was from Skywalker Vineyards.
Oh, nice.
So George Lucas's vineyard.
That's very cool.
Which was neat.
That's very cool.
So I added it on. I added it on as that separate course, and I'll jump to that course before anything else. But it was the most incredible piece of beef I've ever had in my life.
Really, I bet.
Now, it's fat, but it's not fat like we think of it, right? United States, I get a New York strip and I trim off that fat
it's all
and gristle
chewy
and chewy and all this. This is fat through the meat, so when you put the meat in your mouth, it just melts.
Yeah, that fat is like butter.
Yeah,
I mean, it really, really is.
And this tasted incredibly like beef.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no more way to say it. Sometimes you get a steak or that, and it's chewy. It's meat.
Right.
But my taste is, did someone put a sauce on it, or A1, or anything like that?
Right.
Or what's it coated with, or is it? I'm at Ruth's Chris with the butter. There's no sauce on it. It just tastes like beef.
Yeah.
They did give you a sauce on the side, which was just it was a deep beef juice.
Yeah.
To go with it. Michelle tried it. It wasn't her favorite.
Yeah.
Right? She was like, okay. Me, I like it. And almost to me, if you could get sometimes really good solid pork belly. Where you have that fat, but yet you have that deep pork taste.
Yeah.
This would be the equivalent to me for beef.
All right. That makes sense.
So Michelle was looking at me because I was racking it up because we did the upcharge of $95 each to sit there. I added on the beef and I did the wine pairing.
Yeah.
She just went with the straight wine for it. So the courses. The first course that comes out is what they consider an amuse-bouche. So it's not one of your 5 courses. No, and now I have to back up. That's not true. The first thing that happens when you sit down is they do bring different breads to you. So you can choose what type of bread that you want. And they have butter and they have some different salts so that you can salt it yourself with some
salted
different salts.
Butter is the best thing ever.
It is.
And I only realized that a couple months ago at Disney when we went to Territory Lounge and they brought out the bread and salted butter and it changed my life.
especially when you can do your own.
That's very cool. Yeah.
So the first thing that they do when you sit down and they bring you the menu and everything, they actually make you a special welcome cocktail.
Oh, okay.
So the welcome cocktail has a bunch of different ingredients in it, but one ingredient that they start with is the Grey Goose XO, which that is Grey Goose mixed with cognac.
Oh, interesting.
The first time, this is our second time eating at Remy. The first time we had it, they make this cocktail, so it hasn't changed. But I bought my dad a bottle of that just because it was different.
Yeah.
Like me, he likes vodka, so that vodka and cognac mix. And I think it's even at like Total Wine, which is close to us, which would be probably the cheapest you're going to get it.
Yep.
I think it was $85 for a bottle.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but the bottle doesn't look like a traditional Grey Goose bottle. It's round.
Okay.
It's neat to look at.
Yeah.
So they add that. They add some champagne. They add some different bitters. They then also add, and I almost want to say almost like pearls.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we looked at the tapioca pearls
Yep.
and that, but these are some pearls which are actually, when they put them in, it activates the bubbles in the champagne. And you can drink them at the end, and then they put, I believe, a little piece of ginger in there as well, like the little cube ginger and everything. It's a nice drink. You couldn't drink probably more than the glass
like
they're giving you.
one would be good for you.
Yeah. So
Oh, that's awesome.
so guys, if you look back at the pictures, go to Facebook, you'll see what I'm talking about. I got pictures of them. So while I'm sitting here, I'm showing Jeremy some of the pictures of what there was.
Yeah.
So after you have your drink, you had your bread. And you picked what menu you're going to do. They now bring out the first amuse-bouche. The first amuse-bouche comes out. You have a plate, a normal size plate, but the only thing that comes out is a little cube on a spoon, right? Because amuse-bouche is supposed to be eaten just in one bite.
Right.
So this cube is the outside of it. I mean, it just looks like a breaded cube.
Yeah.
And that's almost what it is. But the inside of the cube is tomato soup. So
It's like fried tomato soup.
Yep. So when you bite into
great.
it, it explodes in your mouth, and now you taste the tomato soup with the bread
Oh, that's awesome.
on it. So
It's like that classic grilled cheese kind of dumping
exactly.
into a tomato soup
Yep.
all in one bite.
All
That's
in one
brilliant.
bite.
Man.
So it's neat. So that one doesn't count as one of your meals, but they bring that out, and that's neat. They then bring out another amuse-bouche, and this one comes out. And again, this menu changes. So you listen to it, you go and have this experience. 6 months from now, you're going to be different.
Right.
You're not getting the same thing.
Yeah.
This one comes out, and it comes out on a plate, and it's round, but there's a disc on top. And the disc on top almost looks like just a round, flat cookie,
Okay.
right? Just that lace type cookie, so it's round flat, but what he says is that's on there. Take your spoon, crack the cookie because there's a foam underneath, but
Kind of like a creme brulee almost.
but the foam underneath actually has essence of different vegetables and stuff like that on it.
Okay. So it'd be like a savory creme
it
brulee
is
almost. Interesting.
It is really neat for it, and that tasted really good. Now, once you're through that, now you can start getting into your courses. And so your courses, Michelle's first course was a king crab. But again, this is all high dining. So, while it's a lot of courses and you're going to be full, it's not a ton of courses that every course is a big full plate. Right? They're, meant to be smaller on that. But the king crab was good. What we did on it, since we each got the separate menu, we'd each eat about 3/4 of what we got, and then let the other person try.
Such a perfect way to do it,
other.
though. That's a great way to do it.
Which was good. So hers was good. Mine was just a fish. So the first course is a fish type of course, but just the decoration, the way they do the plate. I mean, it's
amazing.
talent, right?
Yeah.
It's talent of what goes on there. The second course was more with the French course, you're going to get a lot of sauces. So almost every course that was brought to Michelle, they'd bring the course and it'd be the food on the plate, and then they would pour a sauce over it at the table.
Okay.
Where on the American side, you really didn't get any of the sauces.
Right,
So,
yeah.
I mean, just kind of different. True French cooking versus
Yeah.
not. So her next one was a pressed fish course. Tasted really good. The sauce was wonderful. Versus mine was a lobster with chilled corn
Is that caviar?
on the plate. No, those are just droplets of sauce on the plate on the side.
I was looking at the red, or there's like raspberries almost looked like.
Yeah, so those were
Oh,
actually
it is.
little. Yeah.
Okay. It looked
Yeah.
like it had a texture to it, almost like
Yeah.
a caviar or a like
Yeah.
the raspberry. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense now.
So that was really good on that. Now you get into, and I keep saying a lot of fish. I think early on, I mean, the first few courses are fish.
Yeah. But it makes sense because
Before
of how
you start
light it is.
how light,
Before you get into something a
before you
little bit
start
heavier.
getting, and then hers was like a fish course with like black garlic, black truffle on it.
Man.
Again, mine now I get into a meat course, which mine was pork 2 different ways. So a bacon wrapped tenderloin and a pork belly
Oh, nice.
with a sauce.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
Much more American now. We're already getting into pork. So
Now we get into the meat course. So for her, it's a steak, but again, it's a steak that's almost like a rectangle. Most of this stuff I would say sous vide, right? Cooked
Yep.
sous vide, which means cooked in a water bath to a desired temperature, and then it's either, it's either seared or something to
Yeah.
give it the color or the crispness. Because I mean, the food's good through and through, and it's it's probably the easiest way for the chefs to cook. Mine was I'm trying to remember. I think mine was a duck
okay.
on that one.
Yeah. That'd be a perfect spot to get something like duck too. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've had it at places that are not quite as fancy, and
If it
I don't
wasn't
even
duck,
think it was
lamb.
duck.
If it wasn't duck, it was lamb. But it was duck. And then there is the 2 ounces of beef.
Yeah.
And again, it's 2 ounces of beef. I mean,
Gosh,
it's
still looks so good though.
it was
man.
amazing. And again, I'm making the bites smaller and smaller.
Right, yeah, trying
I'm
to get it
making
to
this
last.
thing
Oh, I
to
don't
go
blame
through
you.
it. So now you're through your courses,
Uh-huh.
right? You're through your food. So now next comes up the a gentleman with the cheese cart. So you don't have to get it. It's included. You can do it. Not. Michelle doesn't want anything to do with it. I don't know if we've ever brought it up on the episode before, but she is very, very unique or specific when it comes to cheese.
Yep.
I love cheese.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm with you.
Give me one of the cheese board, a charcuterie.
Yep.
I mean, I'm in heaven. So this one had probably 9 or 10 different cheeses.
Oh, wow.
He walks through them all and then builds your plate and then builds all the accompanies with it. So honey or crackers, anything. So I got it. There's an orange one, which is actually a fruit cheese. It's a cheese that's cured with fruit. So it
Interesting.
takes on the flavor. It's hard and it tasted almost like if you ate a hard piece of Parmesan or something, right? It just had that. I got a creamy kind of a goat type cheese. It might even been a sheep's milk. And then the other 2 that I got were 2 different blue cheeses. I love blue cheese.
Yeah.
And so one was a firm and one was a creamy, 2 different types of blue cheese. So I went ahead and did the cheese courses
That's awesome.
for that. And then you start going now, and here comes dessert. And you're full.
yeah.
So Michelle's dessert was almost some like waffle type cookies with ice cream.
That's awesome.
But the waffle cookie on the bottom actually was filled with like a cream and that. It was really, really good. She loved hers. I had chocolate, so it's a cylinder of chocolate mousse, but really, I mean, just delectable, and it had an espresso mousse with it.
Yeah.
So you finished that, you've had your drink, you've had your food, you think you're done, and you're not, because now they bring out individual chocolates for you, like chocolate truffles.
Uh-huh.
But they realize that most people don't make it this far, so they're like, would you like us to box these up for you?
Very cool.
Like,
nice.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then they bring out another thing where they've done some lollipops, some other chocolates, and then these fruit gels. And again, box all that up.
Oh, that's
so
awesome,
Yeah,
though.
so we left with all of that, which most people we saw were leaving
Oh,
with
of course. Yeah.
But it's it's not a short meal, right? Having that many courses, everything, you don't pay attention to time, but our reservation was at 7, and I want to say that we probably were there till 9:30.
Okay.
I would think, at least. I mean, it was a good 2.5 hours through it. But they also, to me, the waiter was excellent, and then you also have the sommelier who comes and is describing every single glass of wine with the wine pairing. You have the cheese person who's coming, who's the expert. You have the chef come out and check on you. So to me, it's the closest you're going to get to Victoria and Albert's.
Mm-hmm.
With only, if you don't even add the other stuff on, it's $95 a person. Yeah, you paid thousands for the cruise.
Right.
So that's built into it. But to me, it's nice. And we're going to go to Victoria and Albert's here in May.
Yeah, and do a full review. Because I was going to ask, let's just say price aside. Let's say they cost the same. Is it a very similar experience? Is one that you remember better than the other, since you haven't been to Victoria Albert's lately, but you're going here next month? What is the real comparison if price was the same?
Very similar.
Okay.
Very similar. I think on Victoria and Albert's, you could end up getting maybe 1 or 2 extra courses.
Uh-huh.
But Victoria and Albert's very similar, right? It's like, here's your list of your courses, right? Your 5 or 6. If there's something you don't like, right, you can substitute or something along that line. You're picking your wine, but they do a wine pairing. You can add on caviar. You can add on steak.
Yeah.
You can... so it's to me, very similar in how the two restaurants are. And the fact that the same chef,
right,
has it. So Victoria and Albert's, to me, it's in the Grand Floridian. You're dressed up. It's definitely more elegant and quiet. Here, the view's beautiful, right? We were sitting in a booth looking straight out at the ocean while you're going, and
awesome.
able to see the sunset. Once the sunset, it's a pretty dining room, but it's not huge.
Right.
But it wasn't packed either. I think that's I like that night because it's our last night in the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
We do it. We're done. Right. That's our finale.
Yeah. Yeah. And you do it up right. And I mean, you're right. If, when you look at what you've already spent on the cruise, and I'm one of those that does it that way, even if all you did was the $95 a person, that's nothing in the grand scheme of things. I feel like when you've already spent this money on the cruise, you've already had pretty much all your other dining included. Yeah, $95 for that spread that you just mentioned, even if you don't do add-ons, is pretty incredible.
No, and I think you can get away with, if you're somebody who, you want wine, right?
Yeah.
I think you're good. To me, 2 glasses through wine, you're good.
Yep.
So, in the wine, Michelle did the 2 glasses of wine through dinner, and I want to say they might have been 14 or 15 a glass. It wasn't outrageous on the wine. And remember, you're also getting the cocktail when you sit.
Yep.
So realistically, you can end up, right, if you didn't do the wine pairing, get 3 drinks through dinner with all that food. That's plenty.
Oh, yeah.
So, you're adding a little bit more on top of the 95, but not much.
Yeah, that is not bad.
So they have raised the price over time. Now, there are some other special add-on food-wise during the course of the cruise.
Okay.
They have beverage tasting series, which you pay a few bucks, and there's a cocktail making series. There's a scotch or whiskey tasting and all that. So there's those.
No water tasting?
No water, though.
Man.
It might be too expensive. There is brunch.
Oh,
so
cool.
Remy does a brunch.
Oh, I bet that's good.
And I believe Paulo does as well. I asked the waiter about it. He said, it's great. It's nice, but you're better off. Dinner is better than brunch. I think brunch might be $50
okay.
as an upcharge, where you're $95 for dinner. And he said there's some good things on it, but it's, it's good not great. I mean,
Right.
good. There's a chocolate dessert tasting. Now, I'm a bit confused on this. I'll have to do the research, and I probably should have done it before we're talking about it. But this is either something you can add on to your meal or it's separate. But it's $25, and it's extra chocolate desserts.
Okay.
I think it's a separate just dessert thing.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't imagine eating and saying, we weren't offered an extra dessert
Okay.
activity. So I think it's
Yeah.
a separate, but they have it for Remy, an extra chocolate dessert for $25. Not one dessert, but a
Right. Yeah.
tasting, I guess.
Okay.
So there are those types of things throughout the cruise
Yeah.
that you can do. But to me, Palo's nice. If you are a foodie and you're willing to try some things and you don't have control over what you're ordering, right?
Right.
I won't say you won't have control over what you're ordering because you can kind of mix and match.
Right, but you're really down to 2
realistically, you're
options
saying-
for each
yeah,
course. I mean, that's
yeah,
it. So
you're-
if you don't
you're
like
saying-
one of those 2 options, just too bad.
Yeah. But if you're a foodie and you're like, this is 100% for you.
Yeah. Now, how long in advance do you need to make reservations for something like Remy?
As quick as you can. So, again,
Are we like at a 180-day mark in the same
No,
sense of
so-
when it opens up, or how does that
So
work?
again, so if you, so when you do your cruise, you have to have your whole cruise paid for. I keep being wrong on this, but I think your whole cruise has to be paid for in full. Let's say it 60 days ahead of time.
Okay.
But if you are paid in full and you've taken more than 10 cruises, you're considered platinum. You can book your activities, including these dining, 120 days out.
Okay.
If you've done more than 5 cruises, you're gold. You can book them 105 days out.
Oh, interesting.
I've done more than 1 cruise, so I am silver. I can book them 90 days out. The general public, if it is your first cruise only, 75 days out.
Okay.
So, but your cruise has to be paid in full
At
when
that
you're
time.
ready to do that.
Okay.
So even though like for me, even though I could book 90 days out, I have to have my whole cruise paid in full by 90 days before I could book this
Right.
stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
So we did. So at the 90-day mark, I book
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, you're usually able to book these dinings without a problem. If there's availability on your cruise, though, you can still book it. I didn't have to book it that far out. Every table was not filled when we
Okay.
were there. So I would have been able to go on the ship and book.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to take that chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not go
just-
ahead? If you know you're doing it.
Yeah.
Book
yeah.
ahead.
Just book it ahead. And all
Okay.
you're doing is keeping the reservation. You're not paying at that time.
Right. Okay.
You're just doing the reservation. So it's that's worthwhile. So a lot of food
Yeah.
to choose from. You're not going to go hungry. If you control yourself, you can maintain your weight. If you don't, you're going to definitely gain weight.
Yeah.
I don't care what cruise you're on, right?
Right.
But,
Right.
because you just lose track of everything.
Yep.
It's like it's already time to eat again.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing I look at. But there are a lot of choices. The restaurants are neat. I love the rotational dining. I like having the same servers each
That's
night because
really
you get
cool.
to know them. They get to know the kids, which to me is more important
Yep.
because they'll tell the kids some jokes. They usually have some sort of trick that they'll do for them at the end of dinner.
Yeah.
Anything like that just to keep them entertained.
That's so
And
cool.
that is one other thing with the meals as well is they were not always, for the kids and us, they weren't bringing out the meals at the same time. So like they knew what the kids were eating. The kids' meals would be out within, 5-10 minutes
Yeah.
of us sitting down.
And they're nice
so,
and occupied. And
yeah, yeah. So there was one night that they were halfway through their entree and we were getting our appetizer.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So,
That's great. Man, that is a lot of good food.
So-
yeah.
here's the last thing I'll tell you, because we didn't bring it up so much on the first one, but I'll tell you, we brought up real quick that you can buy picture packages.
Uh-huh.
Whether you buy a picture package or not, this is the only thing that I will tell you about the cruise, which to me I find annoying. You are at dinner, and almost every night the photographer will come to your table and take pictures.
Uh-huh.
They will want you to go and stand and pose. They want the kids to make faces. They want everything.
Yeah.
And it's like
You're kind of just trying to eat.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like I'm not buying the picture. So politely, the first, I mean, I think the first time, whatever, we went along with it. Second time it came up and I just politely was like, if you're going to take just kids only, don't leave us alone, just the kids. I'm not getting up and walking over there and smiling for something I'm not going to buy.
Right.
But they're aggressive photographers.
Yeah.
And they are on the island. They are on the deck. They are at dinner.
Okay.
The photographers are around. So if you do buy the package, there's plenty of opportunity for you to get lots of pictures and walk away with a lot of pictures.
Right.
If you're not buying the package, it's like, if I turn left here, will you not see me?
Right. I could see that being a little annoying. Trying not to make eye contact half the trip, but
that's the only thing. And then looking at your notes, if you have dietary restrictions or anything like that, you let the cruise line know ahead of time and they take care of it for you.
But another great thing to have your waiter or waitress that follows you around. You know, you only got to say something once, and then you're set the rest of the trip. I wish I could get that at Disney World. Not that I have dietary restrictions, but how cool would it be just to go to every place there and it's the same guy. You're like, hey, what's up?
It's no different. And it's just like our room attendant, right? Yeah. Our toilet wasn't, or our sink wasn't working or whatever, and Michelle was in the room. I must not have been. I was somewhere else, and Michelle had her help, and they got to talking a little bit. But I mean, it was like every time we saw her, it's like, Michelle, how are you doing? Where you go? I mean, just by name 100% of the time. I'm not sure she ever knew my name. I think she did once or twice, but it was always Michelle in her language with her accent and everything, and Michelle was just loving it. Like, oh, I love hearing that.
Oh, it's great.
So it's neat. They get to know you, and that's the one thing. We our first cruise on Disney, our wait staff was amazing, and I wish, again, I don't even know if they work on the boats anymore, but I wish we had them every time. They were just hilarious and great. Our second cruise, they were okay. Yeah. This time we were back. They were good.
Oh, good.
Again. In that. So it's just how much they do. But the other thing we also found out is when they sign their contracts with Disney, they don't sign it for a specific ship.
Oh, okay.
So, like,
interesting.
Our bartender that we got close with, he actually had just come over to the Dream recently. He was on another ship, but he came over to cover somebody who was gone on vacation, and they were taking their time off. So it's one of those of, you get, they say your manager sees you like a couple days before and says, oh, by the way, when we get in port Friday, have your stuff packed because you're getting on the other boat.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Gosh, that's got to be a pretty decent job, though. Especially if you're that main waiter or attendant.
If you're the head waiter.
You're the head waiter. That's what I'm going to look to do in my retirement.
4 people, 4 nights, $16, and all I got to do is just make sure everything's okay.
Not bad. That's good. Well, thanks for sharing all this. This is awesome. I'm really excited to hear about your Victoria and Albert's trip coming up. Mother's Day weekend, correct, is when you're doing it?
Mother's Day weekend. And actually, we have this trip coming up next weekend when we're doing the
5K Star Wars. And you guys are going to California Grill one night, aren't you?
One night, and then Tiffin's the next.
Yep. Yeah, and we're doing the Luau one night, and we're doing Star Wars dessert party the other night. Rhonda and I went ahead and booked that. So we're going to have a lot to talk about after this.
You'll have to tell me, because on the dessert parties, I could never bring myself to justify the price.
We barely could. And we had reservations at, I can't remember. Rhonda had reservations somewhere. And when we started looking at the price of what we could potentially spend at a restaurant, we thought, let's just try this out. Drinks are included at the dessert party. They do, I know, have some savory stuff as well as all the desserts. So we were like, you know what? Let's give it a try. We looked at all the different parties, and we thought this one just looked like the most fun, as opposed to a lot of the happily ever after ones that they offer. This one just seemed like I think you get like a lanyard, a Star Wars lanyard. You get a Chewbacca Stein to keep, and I think the fact that we were doing the 5K Star Wars that weekend. Rhonda doesn't know yet, but I signed her and I up for Secrets of the Empire that you and I did. So I'm just going to take her to Disney Springs and just go, oh, by the way, we're doing it. So I won't let her listen to this episode, I guess. But so I was all of a sudden, it was like, this is becoming kind of a Star Wars weekend. So let's try the dessert party. I'll be very interested. I think it was $80 a person, which was really tough to stomach. And there's no AP discounts or anything.
Right.
But we'll see. So it'll be interesting. We're excited for the luau because we had such a good time at Hoop De Doo Review. This is, the food looks pretty good. It's beer, wine. We had like a 9 p.m. Ohana that we kept trying to move up, and finally we were like, you know what? Let's just try the luau. We'll hit Ohana another time. So I think we're planning to do the luau and then maybe sit out on the beach and watch the fireworks, that evening, or hit up Trader Sam's at the same time. So it's gonna be a packed, crazy weekend, I think, for all of us. So we'll probably break that down into several episodes coming back.
Yep. And then you guys are heading Thursday.
Yep, we are gonna head down Thursday. We're gonna put the kids on the bus and head down. And then we're planning to come back Sunday afternoon after Animal Kingdom's 20th. But then this morning, Rhonda mentioned something about her parents might be home and could watch the kids one extra night, and we might stick around till Monday. I don't know, but we'll see. Sometimes we just do stuff like that on a whim.
Yeah, we're taking the kids, so we'll pick them up from school and then head down. So we won't be down Thursday night until 6:30. Probably around that time.
And you guys are doing Bay Lake
dinner
Tower,
rest.
Right?
No, not this time. We're at Saratoga.
Oh, this is Saratoga. Bay Lake is your Mother's Day trip. That's right.
Mother's Day / Michelle's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is Saratoga, which is fine. I just did my room request, I think, yesterday.
Yeah. And you just probably won't hit up the food court in the morning.
So we'll see. Yeah. Who cares? Well, it doesn't matter because, again, you guys will be up early.
Right. Oh, I know.
I mean, I'd like to go see her finish the race and all that, but I think to get the kids up,
I think start time's 5:30.
Yeah.
And it only is going to last 30 or 40 minutes
Right.
for the actual run. Yeah, it's going to be a rough morning.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any chance of us bothering to do that.
Yep.
So she can tell us about it, and
it's going to be interesting.
Go from there.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're excited, and it's our one trip a year. We leave the kids at home, so it'll be interesting. I have a feeling it's just going to go by like that because we have packed it so full of stuff. So we'll see. But we'll talk all about that, of course, coming up. And thank you again for sharing everything. I know we're going to do a cruise here at some point. It makes me more and more want to do it so bad.
Just get your passports and look for the last minute stuff.
I know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Because I need to update my passport anyway. I think Rhonda's is still good.
And you
Mine,
don't need
I know,
anything
is up,
for the
but
kids. Kids, you just need Kids, you either need birth certificate, or a copy of the birth certificate.
All right. Perfect.
And
yeah. I may get a passport updated and just start tucking some money aside for a last minute cruise. That would be pretty cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you could go out to iTunes, hit that subscribe button, and of course, leave us a rating and review. That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.